Welcome to Land Your Bets Sports Betting Live Show with the one and only Daft Previews. What's up, my G?
Let's go. I'm here for some honesty, my man. I can't wait.
Let's do that. Let's be honest today. Let's look at the just multitude of bets that we have at our disposal here. You can see I'm on propsmadness.com. We're gonna be going through every bet. Why not? We have enough time before this game starts. And we only have a limited amount of bets. What do we have here? Like 2, 3, 4, 5 players for the Lynx. I think we get 6 because we got one bench player in Mabery. Oh, and we don't have Brianna Jones. So maybe we're assuming Mabery starts. I don't know if that news came down because we never got Brianna Jones lines ever. And now we have these Mabery ones. So did you see anything about if Brianna Jones is starting or if Mabery's actually getting in?
I think she'll be starting, but it's just what happens is when she gets her minutes cut, the books don't know what to offer the lines at, so they just don't show them. She will start, but she probably plays only 15 minutes.
Yeah, 14 at the most, like we've seen. Quick reminder, as people are jumping in to jump in the comments with your bets, and we'll definitely use that. I mean, like I said, it's not like we have to like go hunting all over the world for these things. There's 5 total, 10 total, 5 for each squad. So we're going to, I'm assuming you probably looked at a few things. Daft left. All right, Daft will be back. In the meantime, I'll tell you what I looked at, which is what I was going to ask Daft, which is, did you watch this last game again and watch it back to kind of see what happened? And I know the answer is yes for our guy. For me, it was the same thing. And I mean, let's start with Napheesa, because for Napheesa, like we've seen her just dominate down low, right? And I didn't take her points in this game, but that is somewhere to start. It's back. I was gonna double check with you because I think I already know the answer. But did you watch this game back from game 4 at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's only one game. You got to tune in. It's easy.
Did you see anything? I'm kind of starting with the Mabery Jones stuff that we were already talking about and just kind of going into it. Like, did you see anything from the difference in game 4 with Mabery, how she was participating in the offense, her minutes versus other games where Ty Harris did not play 30 minutes like she did in this last one?
Did I see anything different? It's like, I guess she just wasn't forcing things as she once was. She had 2 games of just the ultimate green light. And then, but again, if Tyasha Harris doesn't play well, maybe then still does the exact same thing. So a lot of that was just adapting to the hot hand, really.
Yeah.
If Tyasha Harris wasn't playing well, then we probably see the exact same stuff we have been from Marina Mabery.
Yeah. So do you think the minutes stay at 38? Like there were 34 in this game. And I couldn't really tell if they didn't have her on the floor because Ty Harris was hot, or she just wasn't taking as many shots because Tyasha Harris was hitting.
I think it's both, really. Okay. I think she'll still see a ton of minutes. She has to.
Yeah. Well, I hit the 15.5 under. I hate that I did it because when I give it out like that and I'm able to hit it on FanDuel, it was 15.5 on FanDuel for like, I guess not very long because I gave it out and hit it. And I'm sure other people were moving it. So 15.5 is gone, but the 14.5 is there for Marina Mabery. Do you have a play for her? I know that you actually weren't privy to her having props up because they came up in the last like 45 minutes.
No, I'd consider the under for sure. It's an elimination game. I think the total for this game is like 151. They figured her out after that first game in this series. Yeah. So definitely the under is the lean for sure.
Yeah.
But if I can't get it at 15.5, I may not. But
right. I know that's what I hated about giving it out was that I was like, I know that not everyone's gonna be able to get this at 15.5, whether by timing or by lack of book. And I still took it and said I was taking it. But the 14.5 is right on the line. It's something I don't hit just because we're already talking about Ty Harris. She's all the way down now at 8.5 points. She was at 10.5, which means there's been money coming in on her under on the points there. I wasn't considering it 9.5 for even money, but it at least caught my eye. Now at 8.5, when you look at her averages, she played 26 minutes a game on the season, which you can see using props.cash is really good for being able to see that and just seeing on the season what her numbers exactly were for Ty Harris. 27 minutes, right? And then the playoffs don't matter, but she played 30 last game. I think we're both of the same mindset that she's more likely to play 27 than she is 30 or 31 because she can't necessarily hit 4 or 5 threes like that, like she did in the last game. So 8.5, does that entice you at all, or where are you at with her?
At the 10.5, when that opened up, I wanted to fade recent results
Yeah.
immediately and bet the under. But when I watched back some of the game, because I didn't get to watch it live, I found that her defense is actually really good, and that could
Yeah.
keep her on the floor a lot longer.
Precisely.
She did a great job on Kayla McBride.
Yeah.
So
I should have mentioned that like Kayla McBride was getting locked up by the Sun when Ty Harris was guarding her. She continued to get locked up when more like Mabery and DeWanna Carleton were guarding her. But now this is like the Kayla McBride stopper. She's just glued to her, not letting her get any points, right, or shots up. So
yeah,
I think that's a big part of it.
Opportunities at 8.5. You're looking at 3-pointers, right?
Yeah.
And this Connecticut Sun is desperate for somebody to make threes. She got hot in the last game. The Lynx will do what they can to limit her, but in the flow of the game, you're going to get open shots.
Yeah.
Right? Even for the Minnesota Lynx, they shot 38% from deep. The Connecticut Sun are the best team at defending the perimeter. They still got a lot of open looks. Like, it's just going to happen in the flow of a game. So 8.5 and under on that, it's not for me.
Still a stay away, yeah, because the threes are at 1.5, and like she's going to need to hit 2 to get that, I think, too. Yeah, I mean, just looking at her real quick over here, the field goals overall for her on the we're still on the season here. The field goal attempts are at 8, so she's not really getting to the free throw line though, is she? I would imagine those are probably all the way down here. 1.8 free throw attempts, so you can't bank on any points from that. So if she's taking 8 shots, she's got to hit 5 for 8 or at least 1 3. It's right on. It's right on the money.
Hit 2 threes, right? Is it?
Well, if she goes 4 for 8. Then she's at 8 points.
Yeah.
But if one of those is a 3, she's at 9.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's not terrible. It's not necessarily something that I think there's better bets even with the limited options. So I would agree that I'm staying away from Ty Harris for right now. 8.5 is an over as much as 10.5 is an under. And I mean, in 40 minutes, in the way that the WNBA works, there's like the shot attempts are pretty much the shot attempts. I feel like. Right, like we know how many shots these people are going to be taking in each game. So for Ty Harris, yeah, I mean, she took a lot of shots last game. Do you really think that that's going to be the case unless she's lights out again? Not something that I want to bet on. So, do you want to go to somewhere that you do have a play?
Let's talk about Sweet Bridget.
Oh, our girl, cutie.
So is that at 10.5 now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn.
Do you know how good that makes me feel? I was able to give out and hit 8.5 last night.
Yeah. I was going to hit the 8.5, but what I've been doing is, because these lines are quite sharp, I feel like the good lines, they are juiced to the max. Like, I've got to find another way to make it sexy, and we'll talk about Kayla McBride in a minute. Not because she's sexy. Well, depending on who you are, right? There are a lot of women out there who might love it.
But if you're betting against Kayla McBride, she's the hottest person on the earth.
So we'll talk about her in a minute. But with Bridget Carleton, I couldn't find a correlated play to remove that juice. There was nothing I could find to. Right. So I ended up just taking the 10 points at plus money, even though the 8.5 was available. Yeah, I was like, I don't care whether I win or lose. Like, I just want to,
totally.
I need to get some good odds.
I get you. I mean, we've got a limited amount of these games left. I couldn't get by the value of the way that I guess the books just, I mean, look, I'm assuming the people making these bets for the books aren't really watching much WNBA. Only the sickos like us are. And that's not fair. It's a much better product this year, but like, I know they're not, especially when like football's going on and that's all they're doing. So they're just not looking at minutes. Like, her minutes have gone way up in the playoffs, and they would be higher except for she had a game with foul trouble. Right. And I talked about this in the video where it's like, no, you're good. Just like the value is 100% there. So in the regular season, she was at how come it won't show me? I guess because I have it zoomed in. So she was at 10.1 points per game for the season, and that was in 30.5 minutes. In the playoffs, she's playing 33.8 minutes, and that started before she got in the playoffs. Right? If you look at the last 10, not saying playoffs, she's up at about 33 minutes. Right? That includes like 4 or 5 games before the playoffs started. So she was already seeing more minutes. They already clearly like dubbed her the shooter that they need. And so she's going up enough that like she's averaging 10 at 30 minutes and I'm projecting her for 34. There's a massive edge to the over at 8.5. And there's a good enough edge to the over at 9.5 for plus money. And so that's what you got basically was 10 plus or over 9.5 for the plus money on Bridget Carleton. It's like easy hood math right there.
Yeah. My projections, which are completely made up, but it sounds good. My projections are between 12 to 15 points for Sweet Bridget in this game.
Love that. Yeah, that's
Bounce back.
worth a sprinkle.
2 from 11 in her last game. Every shot was a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Thanks to the video footage on WNBA.com now, I looked through all those 11 shots. Only one of them was a bad shot at the end of a shot clock, just tossing it up. All the others were her normal looks, and half of them were wide open. Yep. So, poor game.
Agreed.
And yeah, I really do like her to bounce back today at home.
Agreed.
It's honestly like I find the NBA playoffs are difficult to bet on. This WNBA playoffs has been somewhat easy. Like a player has a great game, they're probably going to get shut down the next game. If they're terrible, they're probably going to bounce back. Like
right. Well, so now we finally have a game 5 in the WNBA playoffs, and Napheesa doesn't really work according to that logic because she went under in 2 and then over in 2, right? And this would be the one where you go, does that mean that she's going back to under? But I think there's a couple things you have to consider, right? Like in game 2 here when they won by 7, I mean, other people were cooking, like including Bridget Carleton and Alanna Smith hit a bunch of threes, and then so did Courtney Williams, right? That was her 17-point game. Kayla McBride still sucks, but everybody else was doing it well. Heidemann as well, back at PG, she had a bunch of points, so she didn't have to do much, and they were winning, and that was fine. But when they got to Connecticut, she was like, it's me time, right? And everything was going through the post through Napheesa. So she took 19 shots, and then she only needed 15 shots to get 29 points because she went 9 for 10 from the free throw line. So without banking on her having more like 5 to 6 free throw attempts, right? 21.5 points. Where do you put her? Is this just like takeover time for the best player and like she's gonna be shooting as much as possible? Will they finally double down? Because I still haven't seen the double come when Alyssa Thomas is guarding her one-on-one. It doesn't come. So if it doesn't come, she's probably still gonna cook. I think that's the norm, right?
You keep saying come. But
you heard that's the only word you heard the whole time.
I was like, oh yeah. So my initial lean is the over, and it's got nothing to do with the data. It's more of how they play and how they respond. So for the first few games in this series, the whole game plan for the Lynx was, let's get Alyssa Thomas off this bitch. Let's get her off.
Right.
And get me off. And when she gets the ball, she's going
to get off a lot.
I do it a lot too. But that was working well for the most part because the Sun were trying to limit how many times Alyssa Thomas would switch off her. More recently, though, what we found is Collier's got this mindset now. It doesn't matter if Alyssa Thomas is guarding me. I'm still going to attack. Whereas before, she'd catch it. If Alyssa Thomas is on her, it's a handoff. Like she didn't want to attack her. Now she started to. So to your point, it could be the game where we start to see a double team because she is going to attack Alyssa Thomas. So my lean is to the over. The best bet is not to bet it at all because if that double team comes, she is going to pass it, right?
Yeah.
She's not bloody fucking Brittany Griner or something. She's just going to put her head down and shoot it anyway. She will pass that ball. But so she's going to adapt to what's given to her. So it could be a good live option, to be honest. If you see how the Sun are playing, then you can live better under or over.
Right.
But
yeah, it's going to be a cat and mouse game though, because if she starts passing out and girls start hitting, then you can't necessarily sag off of Bridget Carleton anymore. You can't sag off of, I guess, Kayla McBride would be the other option. I guess that would really nuke our Kayla McBride bet. But before getting away from Collier, did you look at the rebounds at all? Because I was able to give that out last night. Yeah, you took the over on that?
Yeah. Took the 9.5 plus money. I think all the 3 bets I took, I managed to get them all at plus money.
Yeah,
so
same. Yep. Yeah, so
pretty wild.
It's pretty easy logic. I mean, in terms of the boards against this team, she's gone over in the last 3, but didn't in the first game. Still had 9 in the first game. The Sun didn't miss very much, by the way, in the first game. They were much better shooting than they've been in the rest of the series, especially you, Marina Mabery, costing me a lot of money. But if you look at head-to-head on the season here, wasn't really doing it as much in the regular season, but it wasn't the same game plan where she's just literally only on Alyssa Thomas. If you guard Alyssa Thomas, there's one place you have to be. It's in the middle of the floor, right underneath the foul line. So I cannot think of a better spot to rebound than being just always standing there. Because Alyssa Thomas, even if she goes a little further out and sets a screen or a dribble handoff, she's still coming into and always is that outlet. It's another reason I know we both like her points, which we'll talk about in a minute, because they need her to keep making that little push shot. So, and you don't have to be like a good shooter or hot as a shooter. Like you can just, it's a push shot. Like it's just a floater every time. So, but either way for Napheesa, yeah, I stayed away from the points for the very reason that I don't know if the Sun are going to double her finally the way she was cooking or not. But I do know that the rebounds, especially on defense, she should be good for like 6 to 7 of those. And she's been crashing the offensive boards as well because she's the down low post player. Like it's not Alanna Smith. It's nobody else but Napheesa. So yeah, she's always around the boards. She should continue to be there, right?
Yeah, pretty much spot on.
Yep.
Yeah, I said she's going to have 37, 38 minutes. They'll try to play her 40. The minutes are going to be there. The matchup is excellent. She's going to be in the best rebounding position, and she's the most capable rebounder on that team. It just makes so much sense. Both teams should be up for it defensively. The total's low, and the total's not low because they think they're going to play even slower. They just think the defense is going to be better, right? It's been the case most of this series. So, yeah, the rebound opportunity is going to be there for sure.
Agreed. G-Bag was talking about her points and rebounds, but I think we both kind of were of the mind that like the rebounds are just the safer play with Napheesa tonight, and not really trying to see how they come out in a game 5 closeout game. Like I don't know, I think in a game 7 in the NBA where we have a lot of data and we know there's going to be 20 million people watching versus however many million are going to watch tonight, right? Like it's a little bit different situation. Buttholes tighten up a little bit more, but these girls' buttholes are loose, so they'll be good to go. Let's. You did. Kayla McBee. So McBeezy, what a wonderful fade. The jig has been up for a while because if you were only looking at like her original head-to-head when they came into this series, right? I think their first game was the 29th. So up until that point, she was 2 for 3, had hit 13 twice. So it was like still somewhat of a sharp play to go under on Kayla McBride against this team. Then we get 4 more games of her going under 13 and a half. And shooting the same amount of shots, looking the same amount of disheveled and sort of like flustered when she has to drive to the basket with really good defenders like DeWanna Carrington on her. So now Tyasha Harris, even better, Kayla McBride stopper who's just glued to her. She's back on her. Pause. So I'm thinking, yeah, this is just another good fade. I don't care if this is the game that she randomly hits against us. The fact that she only took 6 shots last game tells me a lot of what I need to know because she still played the 34 minutes, right? Like, so fade her points. Do you want to get into the negative correlated parlay?
Yeah. So what are the odds for the under? Like minus 130, something like that?
On the points? Yeah.
Yeah. Now, and I refuse to bet at those odds.
Sure.
So I've got to find a way to make it sexy. And she's done her best, purely based on her appearance. But what I've been hitting Kayla McBride on when I take her unders, I always add her to make 1 3-pointer as well. So I got plus 110 for her to go under, but to make 1 3-pointer.
Interesting.
Now, she's played 46 games this year. She's hit a 3-pointer in 46 of them.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good number there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. And then if you look at her head-to-head games against Connecticut, I think her last 7, she's hit a 3-pointer against.
Yeah.
So it's if you get screwed on this, then I'm going to make a video specifically to rage about her not making a 3-pointer. But it's worked for me so far.
So, what was the odds that you get on that parlay?
Plus 110.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I went a similar route. I think your logic is fairly flawless. I can't argue with you on that. It's a similar concept where head-to-head, she's hit a 3 in every game, but she's gone under in 6 of 7. So that's hit 6 of 7 times. Great hit rate. What I did was get a little bit better juice for her to get 3 assists and also for her to get her core line of over 3.5 for a bit better juice. So I split the unit. I did 0.7 on Kayla to go 3+ assists. This is all on Bet365 because that's where the odds are the best for the under. They are gone. Or excuse me, this is the over for the 365. The points, it was a similar situation. The under was a bit better on 365 minus 125. So it was a bit better. So I took it there. But I would still hit this on FanDuel for those odds, which are probably slightly worse. But if you take the core assist prop at 3.5, go over that with under points, that was plus 300. Love that. Couldn't get away from it. So I put 0.3 units on that and 0.7 units or about 3/4 of a unit on this with just 3+, like a milestone bet. So 3+ assists. That's still -1 or plus 180 rather. For that. So the 3 has hit in every game head-to-head in terms, or all but one. And this is the only one that she missed. She got the points and didn't get the assist in this one, but every other game it's been that. And 4 of 7 with at least 4 dimes, right? Without going over. So on the points. So both are good, but I totally like where you're at. That's what I did with Kelsey Plum in the game that she went off in game 3, where I was like, she's gonna have a bounce back. She just got tore apart by the coach. Like Becky Hammon just eviscerated her on the bench. And it was clear that she was going to come back at home game 3 and have a nice game. And she's never gotten the point total that she was at without getting a 3. So I was like, you might as well add the 3. It only gave me like another 25 cents of juice, but it was like, she's not getting 17 points if she doesn't hit 2 or 3 threes or whatever it was. So it's a similar concept here, but
I'm running the same play for Kayla McBride, but I've got the under her points to make 1 3-pointer and over her assist prop.
Yeah.
Plus 375 on bet 365.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good way to juice up the bet that's happened every time. That's the best. That's the find right there. Yeah. That's the hit rate, right? Of 6 of 7, but still plus 385.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Let's go.
Love that. Let me at least get that in here. I usually have the ticker going below. I'm slacking today. Hold on, I'll put it up. Because I'm gonna hit that and give it out as well. That is Kayla McBee. This is gonna be on the bottom line. Kayla McBride under 13.5 points / 3+ assists / 1+ 3-pointer made. Oh, I love that. Man. Yeah, see, this is how you get sexy with it.
That's what I do.
Yep.
Let's put it this way. I hit these player props, right? I hit them at about 57 to 58%. It's good enough for me not to lose money, but I'm not breaking records here. There are a lot of people who are doing better than that. But when I am right because I get sexy with these parlays and the profit's going to rain.
Yep.
70 units profit on the WNBA post-Olympic break. Can you believe that?
I can.
And the max bet is 1 unit. I haven't put more than 1 unit on nothing.
Really?
Yep.
Good. That's how you should be doing it. We did not talk about Alanna. I think you just missed the L. We'll just keep going down. I think we're on Courtney Williams, but I don't think we are. I think we're both off Courtney Williams. Is that right?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I couldn't bet on her this series. It's just,
yeah. It's the same concept as Alanna, to be honest. We can I talked about them in the same breath in my video, which was like, at 23 minutes in this game for Courtney, 32 in this one, because this was she was hitting 16 points there. She's been hot this series in 2 of these games. In the first game, so I guess the minutes were up a little bit for the most part. And even in the playoffs, they're still at like 27, and there's still a 28-minuter and a 23-minuter. So it's not like she's one of these people that you can just guarantee is going to get the minutes that makes you feel comfortable, or the volume for that matter. 9 shots, 10 shots, 13 shots, 12 shots. So I guess anywhere from like 9 to 13 is a decent enough range, but 11.5 points, something that she does 50% of the time on the season. She averaged 11, right? If you make this the whole season, this is basically 50% hit rate, 43% hit rate. Yeah. So like a 45% hit rate on 11.5 points, played about 27 minutes per game during the regular season. I can find that real easily. Like I said, on props.cash, 26.8 for the in the regular season. Like, I don't know what I have in front of me to project that she's going to play more minutes unless she stays hot. Right. And that's not something I'm trying to bet on, is like, if a player stays hot, she'll have the minutes and the usage that she needs. So I'm off of that. And same for the assist, but I don't know if you had anything for C Will other than that.
No, I ain't fucking with C Will in this one.
Sorry. I like C Will. She's like, if you ever played NBA Street, she's like Bonafide. When you got to play with Bonafide, this like little dude that's just like fast as shit with these wiry arms. That's her. But
what a game. You know, I picked up so many moves back in the day from that game.
Mm-hmm. It's like the dribble, the rollover dribble.
Yeah. I can still do it to this day. It just hurts my hips.
Oh yeah, and between the leg, you go between the legs backwards and then spin out this way.
Yeah.
Fire move too. Yeah, I got to get ready for this next hooping season. All right, so Sewell, we're off. Alanna Smith, I love her to death. I just don't get why she doesn't play more. Or shoot more for that matter. 4 shots last game. I'm not trying to bet on her to hit 66% of her threes. Like, what do I do with this?
Well, the first thing on Alanna Smith, and I brought this up in my Discord in the last game, and I was like, hey, just real quick, is Alanna Smith low key pretty? Like, am I?
Yeah.
Is she?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got to put your WNBA goggles on, and then yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because I didn't know if she could like just WNBA pretty or like real life. Yeah.
Yeah. Real life pretty enough, and WNBA hot.
Okay. All right. Cool. My thoughts on Alanna Smith. I think the only bet I probably considered for her was around her assists.
Yeah.
Because the shots we don't she'll get some minutes, that's for sure. But she's never the first option on offense.
Never.
So there needs to be a couple of breakdowns and the ball swings to her and she needs to be open.
Yeah.
But she's got a decent passing game. She hits backdoor cutters. She can hit the high-low with Napheesa if there's a switch. So the assist can come, and she does a lot of handoffs. Like, she can get cheap assists with, like, Bridget Carleton. Like, just doing handoffs and letting them shoot.
Yeah.
Or even fucking, like, one of the assists, I think she got to Heidemann, and it was a handoff. Heidemann dribbles about, like, 8 times, drives to the basket, Euro step layup. She got the assist anyway. I was like, who the fuck records these stats?
They're very generous in the W. Very generous. You get an assist, and you get an assist.
Yeah. Like, she could have dribbled out the clock, run back on defense, got the rebound, and scored, and they'd still give her the assist from the last play. I'm like, what the fuck?
Stopped at the bench and wiped her face with a towel.
Subbed out, came back in, and then got the assist. But yeah, the assists, I think, just through the flow of the offense, because the Minnesota don't necessarily have C Will, and it's like, all right, you create the offense for everyone. It's like everybody does it, which is why Kayla McBride's getting assists, C Will gets assists, Collier gets assists, Alanna, they all get assists just purely because of the way that they play.
Right. And the way that they play is the play every time down is get it to Napheesa. Yeah. And if that's not there, then now it's going to either be a C Will jump shot off the dribble or Alanna Smith hopefully taking a 3 or Bridget Carleton taking a 3. Which
they don't have
a fine offense because Napheesa is the best offensive player in the league.
That's right. And outside of Napheesa, no one's playing ISO. So it's like their buckets have to be assisted.
Yeah.
So
that's fair. Yeah, everybody but Napheesa. And like you said, even Napheesa, if you do make the entry pass into Napheesa, then you're getting the assist.
Oh, yeah.
These 4 dribbles and whatever.
Yeah. She's going up.
I get it. So did you get 2.5 for better than? I know you didn't play anything for 2.5 minus 145.
Well, I couldn't make it sexy enough, right? I love the over 2.5. I think that hits, not for sure, but I do think that hits. But it's like, what could I add to it to remove some of the juice? Because her rebound numbers haven't been great as of late. There's a floor of 3. Do you add 3 rebounds to it? And I don't know. I haven't even looked at that. So bet
this was at 4.5 for a minute, so it's actually gotten bet up.
Yeah,
5.5.
That's crazy. But yeah, do I look at over assists plus 3 rebounds? Will that remove a lot of the juice, perhaps? Her points prop, that hit and miss. So it depends. Yeah. I'll cook it right now and see what it looks like. But I do like her assists.
It's the shots that make you stay away from the points. You just don't know when they're going to go up. And she's probably going to be involved in the first quarter. Maybe you look at first quarter points for Alanna. That's a thought for a minute, if that's available. But points, if we make it first quarter here, it says 2.5 on here. Can I change it to quarter on here? I don't think I can.
Oh, it's not too bad. Minus 114. Alanna Smith, 3 assists and 3 rebounds.
That's not bad. What? If you're on there, do you see first quarter points? First half points. Yeah, that's how they'd be doing it. Ugh, I love my first quarter points. You know how many minutes people are going to play?
I've only got one book, which like the one that's like FanDuel that I think offer first quarter.
But real quick, look at what I'm saying with the points. First quarter, or this first half now, but like she really doesn't score in the second half. In these games, she had a total of, I mean, she played 13 minutes, but she had like this was her point total last game. I think she had 6 this game. So I don't know. That's just one consideration because she gets involved early, but not after that. I interrupted your parlay. You like minus 114 for 3 boards and 3 rebounds, or 3 dimes?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, I can see it. What's she done in terms of that, real quick? So if you're looking at dimes over 2.5, this hit rate on the season is probably pretty high.
I'll be back in a sec. I've got to go retrieve my child.
All right, then I'm going to take a quick look at a bet that I did put in. We just got to go back to Alyssa Thomas, y'all. I mean, I'm going to do this on props.cash because you can see the minutes, and that's huge. So for her, it's a similar thing with what I was talking about with Bridget Carleton, but I want to tell you why I prefer the points, because I know G-Bag asked earlier about the PR, or no, it's Richard that was like PRA for AT, and G-Bag said PR. And so the reason I'm not doing a combo prop for her and I'm sticking with the points for AT in this game is it's honestly actually the safest thing. So first of all, the things that changed big time during the season, 11 points per game. The shots were at 8.9, 9 shots per game for her, right? Then I'm doing Alyssa Thomas points right now. Then you look at the playoffs, and it just changes, and I think we just have to believe in it. I believed in it before these playoffs. Like, I came in betting overs on Alyssa Thomas as the playoffs started because I looked at the numbers from last year and was like, hold on. In the playoffs last year, she averaged 15 shot a game. That includes this playoffs as well, averaging 15 shots a game. Like, I just don't know. What are you laughing at?
That hearing aid comment.
Yeah, it was really good.
Can you highlight that?
This is why Alan wanted to talk about her in the first place. He was like, I mean, she's hot, right? But that hearing aid, though. I don't know. I wouldn't let it get to me, man. I think you got to look past that. Anyway, Alyssa Thomas field goal attempts. They're at 15 compared to the 9 that they're at the regular season. This is since last playoffs, man. So, like, this isn't just a couple games in the playoffs. This is enough of a sample size for me to go, this is what she's doing. And you add in the fact that head to head, the points are there over against this team, 15 shots. Like, it's going to be the same thing where Napheesa Collier is just guarding her right underneath the foul line. If she wants to go ahead and take a little push shot right inside the foul line, that's hers to take. And they clearly are telling her to take it. One thing that helps me believe that, in the game that they lost, she had 13 points. One of the games that they lost, the game 3 loss, she had 14 points, and the field goal attempts in that one were 10.
That was the B. Jones game.
Yeah, and that was, oh, goddamn, fucking Bree Jones. Unbelievable. It comes out, dicks me, and then does the same thing the next time. Like, buy us a drink first, Brianna. So 17 shots the next game tells me there was a conversation that was had that was like, hey, girl, like, nobody needs you to, like, facilitate everything. If you have an open shot, take the open shot. We'd rather have you shoot a push shot than Marina Mabery brick another goddamn 3 Marina Mabery.
She missed a lot of easy shots in that game too. I considered taking her for 20 points today, and I still may for Alyssa Thomas.
Saucy.
Because that's a lot of shots, and she missed, what, 4, 5 layups?
Yeah, bunnies.
And that might be standard in the W.
That is, I was gonna say, you see a missed layup in the NBA, and you're like, that's 2 points right there. I'm betting on him next game. You see a missed layup in the W. Anyway, so 15 field goal attempts, good to go, baby. Like, I'm good with it. Against this team, same shit. The other aspect of this that was keeping me away from the PRA was, if you look at the PRA, let's just do playoffs, not head to head. We'll do the last 13 in the playoffs. If you look at the points, she hit this in 9 of 13. The PRA also was 9 of 13. I guess I was thinking about this playoffs. My bad. Hold on. Basically, what I saw was that when she doesn't hit the PRA, it's not because of the points.
Yeah, the points is it's the essential part of this whole recipe. Given how high her rebound and assist lines are,
right?
Because she hasn't been hitting the assist number that often,
right?
In this series. So what I've done for Alyssa Thomas, I've taken her over in points because I absolutely love that, but I've added 7 rebounds, 7 assists.
Okay.
It's like a LeBron James play that I used to take all the time.
Yeah,
like you'd always get plus money if you take him for 26 and 6 or something like that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Just because it was asked before I forget, Carleton's an over on the points for both of us. I know we both like her to take the same amount of shots. And she's a cute little Aussie, so yeah, we're all about it. I'm gonna stop with that. Anyway, the Alyssa Thomas stuff, that's what it is. That's why I'm staying away from the RA. I think that's what I was looking at too. Is you look at the rebounds and assists combo, that's not hitting quite as much as the points in general. And that's just been the case. So I'm much happier with the points as just the play in this one, even at 14.5. And there was 13.5 available for a second, but I don't know if that's probably not. Oh, there is still on DraftKings. You can still get it. Yeah, you can.
For those who enjoy some parlays, the best place to take 13.5 is on Parlay Play. Now you do have to parlay it, but you could parlay it with anything that's an alternate line, right?
Right.
And I think you're getting like minus 106 on Parlay Play for Alyssa Thomas, 13.5 points. Like that's
a really good point.
Yeah.
Do you think they should use? Do you think they should use code Land Your Bets for that?
They could use yours or mine. I don't give a shit.
Bullshit! You asked for money with a baby in your hands. That's horseshit, man. I got nothing for that. All right, now let's move on. But yeah, the 13.5 parlay I like. What's interesting to me too, and I might bore some people with this, but like I do be using my my player prop mini baby model that I call, which I use sometimes during the NBA. Well, I show people during the NBA. But what's interesting that I just wanted to show real quick is that if you take, and I have it right here, if you take Alyssa Thomas and you run her through this, just basically checking to see if you're to make sure that you're getting the best juice and you're not getting gypped by the books. Essentially, I just put in her line for the points, her under and over numbers at 14.5 points. And her minutes average and what I'm projecting her minutes to be, which is basically the same, 38.7. And I used her playoff numbers. So the prop average for her is 16.2 in the playoffs this season, right? But what's interesting is if you going all the way to the end here, put in a couple other percentages, whatever. If you want to look at the edge and you want this edge number to be as high of a percentage as possible, at least 10% for me to consider taking a bet. If you take this at 14.5 or plus money, you get a better edge than if I redo all this, put in 13.5 and say minus 130 are your odds. The book is like, don't even bother doing that. And this is what we're talking about when we say plus EV bet, is the expected value here of this bet hitting is better if you take it at a higher price, essentially, or a higher number, which seems counterintuitive. You would always think, oh, I'm getting better value if I take 13.5 and not 14.5. But if you don't consider what odds are being given to you, then you're going to get gypped on these plays. That's the end of my EV rant, because that's been a big one on Twitter recently, which I'm really enjoying watching people like DK DFS and others just go at these like scammer cappers. And so, yeah, either way, EV has been the things that people are talking about a lot, whether it matters or not. It fucking matters. It's the only way to win over time. But anyway, that's my, thank you for letting me rant about that for a second. Where should we go? Where should we go? Should we go to DeWanna? Let's go to, let's stay in the family, right? We go from Alyssa to DeWanna.
Oh, lovers and friends, baby.
That's right.
Let's talk about it. I like DeWanna Bonner today, but I said this on my video. I was like, I can't believe I'm about to say this. DeWanna Bonner is the most consistent player in this series. Like,
how insane is that? How insane is that? Isn't that insane? Look at the end of the regular season for her. Like, this is just the last 14 games, 15 games. Look at how often she's hitting. She was dog poo poo during those games.
She was all over the place. Post Mabery trade, she didn't know what she was doing.
Right.
Like, who am I? Am I even a woman? Like, she had no idea. She was lost. But
then what happens? She gets in the playoffs.
And she became a dog and
fierce.
Yeah. And I think the good thing about DeWanna Bonner is, like, she's going to get minutes because, like, how many teams actually have a 3? Like, I feel like a lot of these teams have, like, there's guards and a lot of them are small because given they're women, and there's a lot of 4s, and some people have a Tierra McCowan on their team, right? But there's not many legitimate 3s, like
Ryan Howard, Kalea Copper, Napheesa's like a 3-4. But to your point, I don't know if I don't think I could count 5 straight up 3s out on
like
the wing.
2 3s, like
can
actual
get
wing,
rebound, right? Like can dribble and drive to the hoop if they can't make the 3.
Yeah.
I'm starting to believe in Bridget Carleton because I've seen her drive to the hoop a couple times. And
that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But anyway,
she's the only one of her kind on that team.
Yeah.
So she's going to get minutes. She needs to be there. The opportunities will be there.
Yeah.
And she's a gunslinger. She's like Joe Flacco. She doesn't give a fuck. She's letting that shit fly throughout this series. And fair enough. Like, who would you rather bombing it from deep, her or DeJounte Carrington? Carrington's
God, no, her. God,
she's shooting 10% from deep in the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh God, no, not DeJounte, please.
Yeah.
And that's been the case for her in the playoffs. To your point, like, why is she going to get minutes? Not only is she a dog, like, she's proven this once again since last year's playoffs. Right. Yeah. These are all her playoff numbers since last season. This is, I believe, the first game of these playoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they played 6 games. So she's gone over the points comfortably. It's at 14.5 still. They refuse to move it up. I think in part because, like I said, they're not watching anything. They're blindly hitting. What's her overall numbers for this season, including the playoffs? The regular season is not the playoffs. It goes to an even smaller rotation. She's staying out there. The other thing is she's their most switchable and best defender. Like, that's not a question. She's clearly saving stuff. Like, you could argue DeJounte was a better defender during the regular season, but during the playoffs, like, DeWanna Bonner, like you said, turning it on with her old ass legs. So she's now second in points all time in the playoffs, behind DT, behind Diana Taurasi, the GOAT. So crazy. Yeah, so that's I fully agree. Like, I didn't give that out. I do like the PR for her that actually had a slightly higher hit rate than just the points.
The line's moved though. It was at 21.5.
Oh, it's 22.5 now. Interesting. Got it.
Yeah. So I liked.
You can get a 21.5 though.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Props Madness is much better than Props.cash. pulling that through.
I do. Yeah, I liked DeWanna Bonner points and rebounds. I also loved Alyssa Thomas points. And I was like, I don't know, do I want to put a full unit on both of them where I'm asking for the same thing, pretty much? And then that's why I created the bitch ass parlay for Bonner and Alyssa Thomas. But I definitely like the over for Bonner. I found in this series, like she always picks somebody and then gets a fast break layup. Like that happens once or twice a game.
Yeah.
And unlike a lot of the other players, she doesn't miss her layups.
Yep. Also true.
Which is pretty good.
Yep.
She is a free throw merchant as well.
Yeah.
So she can get to the free throw line. And I called her the cockroach, meaning because for a few of these games, it's like, fuck, what's Brianna Jones going to do? Because if Brianna Jones gets a stack of minutes, then points for Mabery's fucked. Carrington's going to be a sweat. Thomas is probably fucked.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you're very Brianna Jones dependent on how many minutes she plays, but not DeWanna Bonner. She's like cockroach. It doesn't matter who's out there. She'll get her points.
She's getting hers.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, she can play with Dame Lillard out there and she'll still manage to get 16 points.
100%.
So, yeah, I definitely like it. I just don't want to risk a full unit for Bonner and Thomas to go over. So I put them together and I put a unit on plus money.
Love it. Made it easy on yourself. All right. I think the only player that we would really need to hit then, we talked about Mabery much earlier, just kind of running back through that, a couple of the plays here. So I'll just run through it. Napheesa, the rebounds were an over. Kayla was an under on points and potential over on assists, and add a 3-pointer to any of these parlays for Kayla. Feeling pretty good about that. Sewell was a stay away. God love her game, but no, not the minutes, not the usage. Bridget, our sweet beloved, you took her for 10 plus at plus money. I took her for over 8.5 because of the value of that. And then that was where I left it. But I would consider over 10.5 for plus money. But because I know the value, I'd actually rather have 9.5 for minus 115, even, to be honest, and save that. That's where I'd be at with Bridget on the points, staying away from the rebounds. I think we didn't even discuss the threes, but she doesn't need them to get her points, so it's just not worth it. Yeah. Alanna Smith was a stay away because of the lack of minutes and volume, nothing to do with the hearing aid. And then DeWanna
me. That's why I was laughing before.
DeWanna Bonner, you could hit it if you want. Alyssa Thomas wants to. And if you don't, the points and the rebounds would be the preferred play for me, even at 21.5 at minus 114. That's where I'd be going. It's a nicer hit rate than just the points or the rebounds. And the rebounds are great. There's just no value in 6.5 at minus 132. When, I know her playoff average is squeaks above that, but that's a lot of juice for not something that's that guaranteed. Marina Mabery for me, I got at 15.5 under on the points, and that was a good fade. Legacy King in the Discord was saying that he'd like the PRA under, just the better odds at minus 114. No problem with that. I just think she's gonna be free to do other stuff. If she's not the focal point of the offense or the defense, then she's gonna have more one-on-one matchups on the wing. She might be actually able to go down and get rebounds since she's not gonna be standing on the 3-point line, hoisting brick after brick again. So I was off of that stuff, and the fact that she's not starting, I don't think that 37 or 8 minutes is guaranteed. I don't even think if Ty Harris plays that poorly, that Marina Mabery is going to be out there for more than 34 now that she's coming off the bench, and she doesn't get the first 8 minutes of the game guaranteed anymore, right? So that does cut into her minutes from 38 to 34, and that's a big enough difference, especially in this slow ass game. I can see this thing being slow as shit tonight. Even though there was a call for an over, I'm weary of it in the game 5 stuff. Alyssa Thomas, love the over on the points. I know you had a bitch ass parlay with her and DeWanna Bonner, so I'm here for that. Ty Harris, I really wanted to bet the over on 8.5. Daft as a stay away and really wanted to fade 10.5. But at the end of the day, neither of us bet on her because we have enough units on other shit, and I got Thursday Night Football to bet on this week, baby. DeJounte, my beloved, even though she's cheating on me with Alyssa Smith. Where you at with you always want to bet on DeJounte?
I do, but these pretty girls been like causing some damage to my bankroll.
Yeah.
So I did have a bet on her in this series, and she hit a 3-pointer like a few games ago at the end of the game to just clear it. And ever since that point, I can't trust her because I feel like her ceiling is and her floor are very close together. Like she's always going to be thereabouts.
Isn't it, the most telling sign of that is her head-to-head numbers against this team. This is at 13.5.
Yeah,
like just it's any.
And the games where she goes over, it's a last second bucket that gets her there, like in the last minute. So
I would also say in this game she had 15 points, and that included a backboard hitting 3 at the end of the shot clock.
There you go. Yeah.
And the announcers didn't even flinch. They were like, the bank's open. She knows that her team has got to win or she's going home. Thank you for that brilliant analysis. How about we talk about the fact that was lucky as shit and that shouldn't have gone in? Like, do you want to talk about that? But anyway, Rebecca Lobo, do better.
What are her rebound numbers against his team?
Fluctuate, but anywhere from 4
You
to
could
5.
take 10 points and 3 boards and bitch ass parlay that thing for DeJounte.
Like, you can go under or over.
No, like do the bitch ass parlay, go 10 points and 3 rebounds for DeJounte.
Right. And just go over on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I did with Alyssa Thomas and Bonner. So an ultimate bitch ass parlay of points and rebounds.
I like it.
Fuck it. I'm making it.
That's what happens on these streams. We gotta be careful with that. Yeah, for sure. I just for people asking about NBA future stuff, I definitely am. I don't know if you want to get into any NBA future stuff, Daft, but I'm gonna be
I like
future
preseason or futures.
Oh, this is preseason. My bad. My bad.
I know a few guys who are betting the preseason at the moment, and I'm like, how are you making these calls? And I'm a little bit envious of it, but even though the preseason is running today, I'd still prefer to watch the WNBA. It's a better product right now.
I agree. It is. And the thing about the preseason is the same thing as with the summer league for anybody who's thinking about it. It's just about information because you need to know who's playing. And they don't give you the lineups for sure. You have to go in and listen to coach interviews and hear him say, we're going to look to rest. We're going to start our guys, but we're going to look to rest them tonight. And we're going to play more backups or whatever. Like, that's the only thing that matters here. And so looking at fucking 8, 12, 14, 18 games of NFL each week for player props on top of doing coach interview research is just not in the cards for me right now. But the future stuff for the NBA, because I've got my sort of ratings for players and stuff that I'm looking at. The Knicks are going to be another a massive over for me this year as one thing.
Oh, you're buying in?
What? Yeah. And just the
bestie.
Well, you put in you take DiVincenzo out and you put Cat in and have no Mitchell Robinson until Mitch Rob is taking 20 minutes out of the game. Lot of overs for the New York Knicks. If that doesn't get adjusted, if you see stuff for like the Knicks at like 215.5 to start the season, I'm gonna be slamming that. So, yeah,
they put Mitch Robinson on the trading block, didn't they? Or is that
they try to trade him for Cat for basically as soon as the ability to trade after the last season opened, they were trying to trade Cat for Mitch Rob and Julius Randle together. And the Minnesota Timberwolves kept being like, no. And then what happened is the Knicks were like not trying to really give a first up. So they were like, we'll give you Randall and DiVincenzo. And they were like, nah, throw in a first. They're like, no. And then there was a moment in time, like right before the deal happened, or right after the deal happened, where there was a deadline they had to hit. And if they didn't make that deal by this deadline, which was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, they wouldn't be able to do it until like the trade, I don't know, after December. Because players who have Cat's deal or whatever, you couldn't move until like December 1st or whatever. It's like all this crazy NBA stuff. But basically at the last second, the Knicks were like, if we don't give them a first in this deal, we're not going to get it done until the middle of the season. We need Cat now because we don't have Mitch Rob now. So he's going to bring us more value. We'll just take this on now. And that's how it got done. But yeah, I'm a Knicks fan. That's why I actually give a shit about that stuff. But, yeah, NBA futures for sure. The only thing I'll say, and I know it's already been nuked, the Grizz. Don't sleep on the Grizz. Everybody's sleeping on the Grizz, and I'm gonna take them to like be the 1 seed. I'm definitely gonna take them to be like a top 3 seed in the West this year. I think they're gonna surprise people. I think the top 4 in the West right now is probably OKC. At least how it's gonna finish in the regular season. OKC, Memphis. Denver. I do have Denver in there, and
Dallas.
I do believe I had Dallas in there. I do believe that right here.
Yeah, I don't fuck around with futures. There's two things that I don't like.
OKC, Memphis, Minnesota, Denver. That's the top 4.
That's rude.
Dallas, Sacramento gets the 6th seed. Phoenix, Houston are your play-in teams that make it. NOP and Golden State 9 and 10, but they're probably out.
You wild, son.
Yeah,
I don't fuck around with futures for 2 reasons. One, it just leads me to speculate and then make things up, and then I have to wait so long to find like.
Not really, if you think about it. Like you can tell pretty quick.
But if I go and log into my account and it's still sitting there as pending, and it's already lost. Let's not do that. One thing I'll probably want to fuck around with is the like the awards, top assists, like the stat categories,
stat leaders,
the leaders. I think you can get some like tremendous value, like Karl Anthony Towns to lead the league in rebounds. The odds for it are astronomical.
Yeah,
like, he's at the same price as Luka Doncic to lead the league in rebounds.
Interesting. Wait, say you were talking about again?
Karl Anthony Towns, your boy.
Oh, cat in rebounds. Got you. Let me do this on DK for a minute. I just want to check it out because this is
Pop it open. We'll see
people are trickling in because we even just mentioned the NBA. They're just like, someone say NBA. What? just a little bit, man. So we were on player leaders. Calling Cat a leader is hilarious. Scoring leader, obviously Luka, plus 140. Rebounds leader.
Yeah, here we go. Where's Cat? Look at that for Cat.
Scroll down for a minute, baby. 150. Has he ever led the league in rebounding?
No, but
he had like
before Rudy came to town, I think he had a 3-year stretch averaging over 12 rebounds a game.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I thought one of those years he would have won the shit.
Yeah. And if the Knicks can get Mitchell Robinson off that roster.
Yeah. No, now they don't want to.
They don't want to? They want to keep him?
No, not anymore. Yeah. He was only on the block for Cat.
He has been injury prone too, Mitch Rob.
Interesting.
So I'm not saying that's going to win, but I
don't hate it though. I don't hate it at all. I mean, the jump starts right here at Giannis. I think Rudy at 4-1 is probably the best like short odds value. Now that Cat's out of there.
Well, you could say Julius Randle's an amazing rebounder for a 4 though.
Yeah. He's probably going to be somewhere around a top 3-point shooter for them, which is crazy to say. They do not have the shooting.
Jalen Duren, he could take a leap.
Yeah, if he gets the minutes and they're an actual team and he doesn't get hurt, that's not bad. I just said a lot of ifs, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, Cat at 151 is staring at me now.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wins. It's just mispriced.
That's all I'm looking for here.
Yeah.
That's all I'm looking for. Like, yeah, that's wonderful. If it's just mispriced, that's great.
Yeah.
Assist leader, Trey, get the hell out of here. Tyrese, if he's going to play the whole game or the whole season. Yeah, probably Tyrese.
What about James Harden with no PG in town?
Yeah. Nah.
And Kawhi's going to get injured at some point.
Oh, he's going to play. I don't know if he's going to play more than 30 games.
Yeah. So James Harden, we could not Rockets Harden, but high usage Harden for sure.
That's fair. If that all he's trying to do is that, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
It should be Chris Paul. If all he has to do is throw it at the rim and Wemby will go and get it. But yeah, I think the short odds for the rebound there is Rudy. But all right, I'm going to roll because we have these games in a little bit and I got some stuff to get out myself. But yeah, what do you got going on, man? Let everybody know where you're at.
What have I got going on? We just grinding right now. I'll be making content every single day. Same shit. I make the same shit that you do. I'm just less informative and more inappropriate, really.
Fair. It's exactly how I would describe it. Yeah. I'm not lying when I say there's no swears in my videos to YouTube. All right, yeah, check out Daft on YouTube as well. I probably already know about him, so check that stuff out. I'm gonna pin a comment with the stuff that we talked about here, so you guys can check that out and make sure you get it. Best of luck tonight. Don't go chasing because we still have one more series left for the W to get to look at, so it'll be good. And until we see y'all next, happy betting.
Peace.